What up? It's your boy Simon. I always get asked what gear I use, but I actually never talk about the accessories. Today, that's what we're gonna do. Let's check it out. Being a full-time photographer and video creator, the gear that I have that helps me create videos, produce photos, and any sort of content, we stay talking about lenses and cameras, lighting, and other things that really don't make my job easier. So today, let's go over it. These are some things that I use every single day when I'm making content. It helps me either create some BTS or behind the scenes, or in some way, somehow, it makes the images that you see online a little bit better. You've probably seen this online already, but I'm going to start with a magic arm. The magic arm with the clamp attached to it. Now this one I believe is made by Newer, but several different companies such as Small Rig have these sort of clamps and expansion arms or magic arms. I really love this tool because you could actually get different perspectives when it comes to shooting. I like to mount a GoPro or my DJI Pocket 3 to this and get different perspectives. You've seen these things in use before. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but it's definitely useful. And by the way, a lot of these products are pretty affordable. As we're talking about mounting solutions, I'm also going to bring up this Ulanzi suction cup, which has gotten a lot of car content for me. Now, these suction cups are very, very handy and very, very strong. I would say this is probably one of the more expensive items from this list, but the best part about something like this is if I wanted to set up my Insta360, for example, onto my car and I want to ride around on it, this thing is absolutely not going anywhere. Again, this helps you get different perspectives or unique perspectives to you. The biggest thing about these tools is making your job easier. Keep that in mind as you watch. The next thing I always have with me, either in my car or on me while I'm shooting, is the atmosphere aerosol. Now what this does is allows you to get a little bit of a hazy look, so that way you could set the mood for your video, your photos, and it gives you this hazy look when you're spraying this. And I like to keep this in my bag. For 10 bucks a pop, I mean, these bottles do last quite a bit. And again, they do provide a pretty cool atmosphere, as I would say, in your videos, your photos, and all of your perspectives. Now, the other thing that I have here is the Ulanzi smoke machine. Now this smoke machine lets out a pretty good amount of smoke at one time. Now this is something that I like to use for basically any scenario, whether it's I'm shooting jewelry or I want to fill in a space. There's many things that you can use this particular tool for. And it comes in extremely handy for your creative shoot. If you're looking for a tool to make your images that much better, the Ulanzi smoke machine is definitely something I recommend. And the best part is it does come with a remote, so feel free to use it for basically any scenario you come up with. Let's talk about getting some BTS. Now, BTS, or behind the scenes, for a solo creator for me is hard to do by myself. So we've come up with ways to actually grab the BTS while you're working. And not necessarily having to harp on it while you're shooting and creating content, because that is a distraction, but I also don't have somebody following me around with a camera all day long. So unfortunately, I do have to capture the BTS or behind the scenes myself. So what I actually purchased a couple of years ago is this magnet. Now, this magnet right here goes around your neck. This is a very solid magnet. Now, I like to tuck this in just because I'll show you in a second on how this actually works. And on this side, there's another magnet that's attached to the GoPro. Now, I like to turn this on, bend the magnet back, and attach it right there to my chest. Now, I'm able to capture behind the scenes by just holding the camera up right in front of the GoPro and capture basically everything when it comes to camera settings, maybe a little bit of what I'm doing and how I'm explaining things. So this has actually been a very useful item when it comes to behind the scenes and products that I 100% recommend, and also very inexpensive. I will be linking this stuff down below, guys, and this video is not sponsored, but those affiliate links do help this channel to keep going, and this is probably one of my favorite purchases just for behind the scenes content when I do have to capture it by myself. The next item here is going to save you a ton of money. So I'm sure everybody who has a camera has some sort of filter that they want to use for that particular camera. Unfortunately, a single one of these filters is a couple of $100s if you actually spend the money on the right stuff. The bad part is, unfortunately, you used to have to buy a filter for every single lens that you have, and this is a 82mm thread and this is a 72mm thread. This clearly does not fit on here and is not going to stay on if it wanted to. So on Amazon, I did find something called step up rings and step down rings. Now, step up rings and step down rings are extremely useful and extremely cheap. The step up and step down rings probably cost me $7 or $9 for these rings, and what you can do is you can actually attach these rings to the lens that you have, and then you can attach the filter to said lens by simply screwing it right on and not having a problem with it falling off or anything. So now, instead of buying a filter for every single lens that you have, you are now able to purchase one filter, which I do recommend you buying the largest filter that the manufacturer makes. That way you can always step it down when it comes to filter sides and filter threads. So this tool right here is extremely helpful and will save you a ton of money when it comes to buying filters. The next thing we have on the list can save you money as well. I shoot weddings and I have a need for a macro lens. Getting the detailed shots, getting the ring shots, getting shots that are very specific, things that are detailed to a wedding. I don't necessarily need a macro lens for any other reason. So why go spend the hundreds of dollars on a macro lens when you could simply buy one of these filters to simulate a macro lens? Now, the filter goes on just like any other filter to your lens, and it automatically turns your lens into a macro lens. The best part, these filters I've noticed give every scenario and every lens a different sort of look. When I was actually testing this out, I was actually using this lens just for some shots for around the house and some of my own gear. And I noticed that it gives a sort of unique look to a couple of images that I've been messing with, and it gives it like a chromatic aberration look. Not necessarily a good thing when depending on what you're shooting, but definitely a little bit more of a unique scenario. Now, I'm not going to say this is a complete replacement for a macro lens. I'm going to say this is something that can be substituted depending on the project that you have. But I'll be quite honest with you, I've been shooting jewelry with it, and so far it's been surpassing my expectations. And again, if you get a quality piece of glass or filter, you can actually do amazing things on a lower budget. So I am definitely recommending this to you guys as filmmakers and content creators. And we're going to talk about the one last thing that I believe every creator should have. Now, you do see the lights behind me and the different color lights. It gives a certain aesthetic when it comes to, I guess, the image I want to portray. Now, having a LED light, something like this around, is extremely helpful to set certain moods. I love items like this because realistically, you can do anything you want with a light like this. If you're taking portraits, you could set different moods, set different tones, set a lot of different scenarios when it comes to using LED lights or RGB lights like this. So having this in my bag, even for extra pop of not just color, but like regular light or fill light comes in extremely handy, simply because it could just be used for some fill light and it's not really a complicated thing to set up. So guys, this is really all I have for you today. A lot of these items, again, they're budget items. I will be linking everything down below. Please don't hesitate to let me know which one is your favorite in the comments. This is something that I've accumulated over time. I didn't buy all this stuff at one time. So all of this stuff was accumulated over time, and it's been extremely helpful in creating content, capturing behind the scenes for myself, and helping my videos become a little bit more aesthetically pleasing when it comes to content creation. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. It's your boy Simon. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.